going ahead with the macro, I don't know if you guys read my newsletter last week, but I did a strategy hub video on it, on where I see the macro and how I thought it was really looking pretty darn good in terms of a platform to move us higher. We just need to get through this, and that feels like a broken record, but this is the fourth turning. We're seeing so many mines just pop up here and there and everywhere with tariffs, things like that. We're now getting through it, and we're now hitting that Halloween period where Joe talks about it a lot. It's kind of like a Halloween bump where we can move higher. But I'm mega bullish now in 2026. I'm seeing everything in terms of the business cycle and everything heat up. Okay, well, this is all pointing to higher prices, either at the back end of this year, but almost certainly early next year, maybe mid next year. So that's my focus on it. And I'm really trying to get out of the guardrails of the 4-year cycle right now. I'm really trying to get out. And it's not so much making up a new bias to suit the situation. It's like, oh yeah, the 4-year cycle didn't pan out exactly how we thought, so let's just change it. Well, the data is actually telling us that it is fundamentally different. So we may still be within a quote 4-year cycle, but this one is delayed, and the next year is when we get that big move. And I really think it's the business cycle and liquidity cycle now. And we can start to look at things like the Russell 2000, which is also the middle economy in middle America. And I was seeing some fantastic charting, and I'm going to do a chart on this. When the Russell 2000 is breaking out, generally that means the business cycle is just heating up. And that's what it's doing at the moment. So S&P, everyone buys the Mag 7, all that kind of stuff. But when the Russell 2000 heats up, that's when the economy is really robust and moving higher. And it's when rates are coming down. That is the business cycle. That is when Bitcoin begins to ramp at the back end of gold's move. So everything is pointing higher, and I'm really confident in that. Now, I was actually looking at Ethereum. I'll go to Bitcoin in a sec, but why not start with Ethereum, something different? Ethereum, I think, Reese, you posted a great chart, and I'm really enjoying your charting, mate. It's super dialed in. It's really, really narrow and focused. Not a lot of noise, which, again, I really, really like. The level of 4,000 is just so crucial for ETH. Between 4,000 and 5,000, this is kind of the building. This is the building. On top of these peaks, on top of this yellow line, this is the foundation that it's going to use to get through that hammer level. And if 4,000 can conclusively, so we kind of lost it through here, obviously. We had that big move down, fake back up, and now we've ground back through. That's a really bullish sign. So that's a higher high. We've made some nice higher lows. We're moving through there. I'd expect ETH to do something like this, maybe grind and chop through this region, but this looks pretty good. This looks pretty good to move higher, particularly if Bitcoin's in the mode that it's looking, and the RSI looks pretty fantastic too. So ETH looking really strong here. So this is a good sign for some alts. FBTC, look, it's probably as good looking as it can be right now. It's still in that downtrend, so obviously it's follow that squiggle. That's what I want to see, which I wanted to see a little while ago. Didn't quite eventuate, but you've got this nice inverse head and shoulders, which is, you could maybe say it failed there, so maybe don't think of that, but this here just flipped the overhead horizontal in the downtrend, and FBTC, so what's that, 37.037 even, like the squiggle there, and she's off, so these charts don't take much to change. So 50-week moving average was at around 100K. Also, the 10 monthly EMA was there. So that level should hold really, really strong. And again, 100K is a huge psychological level. I'd be shocked if we lost it, in some conclusive closes. That's an area where support, really is strong, and buyers will get very interested at 100K. Like, we're trying to solidify 6 figures. That's essentially what we're doing. We're going 5-figure Bitcoin to 6-figure Bitcoin. It's a big deal. So if we lose it quite easily, you don't really want to see that. And we've chopped around it. Like, we've gone up and back and up and back. Eventually, we're going to use it as some kind of floor. And I think that's what we're seeing now. Now, if we go to the weekly, we've got 5 days left on that monthly candle as well. We could close quite strong on that monthly, which is quite incredible. The weekly chart looks even better to me. We're beginning to... So it's not as good as it could be. The best candle that I'd want to see here is actually this green candle gets higher than the body of this big red one here, which we're not quite there, but this is a great start. The weekly is going to likely close in 50 minutes through the 10 EMA, the 20. It's held the 50-week moving average down here, which is great. We've closed back above my trend line there and horizontal. So, I can't really ask for more than that. I could, but no, that's a really, really great start. So I just like what Bitcoin's doing here. And I'm sorry, I'll just crack back here as well, that Bitcoin has this tendency to use the 50 in a bull market. You can see the yellow line all the way up. And we've just used it again. And sometimes we don't get as far as it, might get front run a little bit. But so far that's holding up really, really strong. So love that. Okay, now daily. We all know about the 200-day moving average. We tried to go beneath it, bit of fake out, bit of fuckery. Bullish divergences pushed us higher, fantastic. So now we're coming into some overhead resistance, and this is where we just want to be a little bit careful. So the weekly looks fantastic, which obviously is a weekly time frame. So this is how you need, I guess, gear your mind is, right, I'm looking at the weekly. This is suggesting that higher is quite likely. I could wait for a bullish engulfing, so the next weekly to completely cover the last couple of candles, and then you'd be more confident. But right now, you'd kind of be thinking, okay, the weekly looks fantastic, but in the short term, we could have a little bit more moderation, just maybe back to the lid here at 112,600. So I'd be almost looking at the 10 EMA here, because again, 10 EMA is your friend. If we're going into an uptrend and you want to layer some orders, Bitcoin can move very quick. Yes, I get that. But even in big movements like that, and that was a bit of a fake out there, but we do come back. So we break out here, but we come back to the 10. Break out here, come back to the 10. There was one chart I'm keeping a massive eye on though, because I've been having a bit of a sparring match with some gold maxis, and I love gold. I love gold, like the physical elemental metal. I love it. But they are very narrow-minded and dismiss Bitcoin at every turn, and that's fine. And because they keep showing this chart, the Bitcoin gold ratio, as if it's a fait accompli that Bitcoin cannot make a new all-time high against gold. And I'm looking at this chart going, oh, it's broken down and it's kind of pulling everyone in and faking everyone out. And look, it's been consolidating against an all-time high against gold since 2021. Yes, it made a small one, but I think the victory laps on gold, ending Bitcoin's run is just hysterical and so silly. And this is just going to be enjoyable to watch, because once Bitcoin is breaking out against gold, that's when we're seeing the full-blown rotation move. And it's really important for us to monitor. I'll be watching for the business cycle ISM, that coming out once a month. Hopefully we're ticking maybe above 50, and that will tell us that the business cycle is really kicking into high gear. Also, inflation rates and the what is it called? The interest rate decision, which I would expect we go lower, same as CME. So, guys, hope you've enjoyed this quick run through the charts. From this point on, let's look for the opportunities, and hopefully we see a bit of up only for a little while. All right, guys, thanks. Bye.